Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So let us start our class today by looking at our schedule. And you know that your first test will be on next week, next Wednesday. Okay, so we'll get a class on Monday, right? So next Wednesday you will have your test 1. So please come here one time. If you are late, I will not give you extra time. Okay, for your test 1, and your test 1 will cover the previous lectures as well as it will cover today's lecture. I will review something and I will discuss something. So please give attention in my today's class in order to do well in your upcoming test. Okay, give attention in this is today's class. So you know that where to go in order to watch your lecture video. So far I have put how many lecture videos? So 7 lecture videos. Maybe today we will have 8 lecture videos. And if you go to your D12, if you go to your D12 on your section, then you will see that I have sent a study guide for this test, for test 1, as an announcement. Okay, if you have not received this, please let me know. Okay, so I send your study guide as an announcement. So in the announcement you should see the study guide. If you do not see, please let me know. So in order to do well in this test, you need to know about class, object, constructor, getter and setter method, new operator, and then this operator. We will review this today's class. And you know that I discussed with a method, a searching method, how to write a method that will return the smallest even or smallest word or largest even or largest word number from a one-dimensional array. Okay, and I also discussed bubble sort and selection sort and insertion sort algorithm. So review those. Okay, and we also discussed what else? If else if statements and switch statement, right? Switch case statement. Review those and review method. How a method returns a value. How a method returns a value. Okay, that's it. Then if you review this, then you will do well in this test. So anybody remember where did we leave in our last class? What did you do? Yeah, we developed a vehicle class, right? We developed a vehicle class, and this is the vehicle class we developed, and we created vehicle object. 4 vehicle object, and okay, the vehicle object we created, that's it. We did have. Okay, so then let us go to from here, and today's class is very important. Okay, please do not open your cell phone. Give attention. And if you think that if you know better than me, then come to I would like to welcome you to give my lecture, and I want to be a student. But if you think that you are not that good enough, please give attention to me. Okay, okay, so in the last class we did some modification intentionally. Okay, so I did some modification intentionally. Can you please bring the microphone? That initially in our vehicle class, the door speed, and color, these attributes were private, right? These attributes initially, those are private, but intentionally I made those public in order to access these values with in my main method from my another class. Okay, today we will go back to the original format. Actually, this is not a good way. This is not a good way to make the attribute, all attribute private. For instance, as a student or as a human being, you should have some private information. For instance, your social security number that you should not disclose publicly. Right? We do not do that. So then the question is that how should we make it private and how should we use that? If someone needs to use my social security number. For instance, when I got a job here at Kansas State University, I had to give my social security number to someone else. Similarly, when you got admission here, you have to give some of your personal information like your name, your date of birth, your parents' name, and your social security number to the admission office, right? Okay, but you gave that secretly, not publicly. We will know that how do we use those. We use getter and setter method in order to handle our private fields secretly. We will do that now. For instance, but the advantage of having public method is that, public attribute is that, when it is public, then it can be used from anywhere, outside, outside means from another program, from another class. You see that my vehicle class is here in one file, and my vehicle main class is another class, and then I am using here vehicle v1.door because the door is public. But let us go back to the private property, because originally this was private. You see the magic. As soon as I make it private, it is not showing any error, but I need to save it. As soon as I click Ctrl+S, then let me make all of this private and this private. You see that as soon as I made this private and save it, my vehicle main is showing error. How do I know that this is an error? This cross sign on the top, it is showing an error. Okay, so the reason is that here it is showing my error. The error line is here on the right side. I can see with red, what is that called? Red little rectangle or red little square on the left side. So if I hover my mouse here, it will show what kind of error is this one. So error, it shows that the field vehicle.door is not visible. So what is called visibility? That it says the door vehicles.door, that means the door attributes of the vehicle class is not visible. Visible means, so this visibility is different, that as a human being we can see that these are visible. We can see this, right? But these are not visible to another class. That means these are not accessible because these are private. So private elements are accessible or visible within its own class. So you know all of your private information, right? We know all of our private information. So we need to make changes here in the door attribute to access these, or one of the changes we showed that we could make it public, then it was good, but we will not make public. Rather, we will use two other methods it's called globally known as getter or setter methods. Is globally known as mutators. Okay, setter is called mutators. Accessor or mutators. Getter is called accessor mutators. We will use that in order to access. So then how I will show in today in Java, next week hopefully I will show code in C#. So in Java, how can I create getter and setter? Just do a right click anywhere on this variable, and on the C here you see the source menu, and somewhere in the middle on the source you will see generate getters and setters. Just click here, and then you see that you have options then of the field for which you want to create getter and setter. Actually I want to select all. If I select all, then it will be selected all. Okay, all of the fields for all of these fields I want to make getter and setter. So then everything is okay by default. So just I will click on getter and setter. But one thing that before I do that, I want to give a reminder that so then if I click on the generate button, it will click my methods wherever my cursor position is. Right now my cursor position is here, right? So wherever my cursor is here position, if I create if I generate getter and setter, my methods will be created here on my cursor position. You know that my cursor position was on line number 7. So I will select all and then nothing to do, just create on generate. You see that within a second I got 6 new methods. Okay, it says get door, set door, okay, get speed, set speed, and get color and set color. Okay, the get method is called getter method in general, and set methods are called setter method. So for each of these variables fields I got 2 methods, one getter and one setter. So I got actually 6 new methods here. These methods are actually completed method, 3 getters and 3 setters. Okay, so let us understand one getter and one setter. If you understand one getter method and setter method for the door, then you should understand for wall. Okay, so the getter method, actually although we have sequentially the getter method first, but we need to understand the setter method first. Actually we need to use the setter method first. Setter method is used to set values for the door, for the variable or the field we are using for this setter method. This setter method is used to set the value of this. So for instance, in our main method that we see that we did set v1.doors equal to 4. So instead of v1.doors here, we will use the setter method here, v1.set doors. You see that by convention the set method start with setter, set in Java, and in C# it's called set. And say that I put d in lowercase, but by convention they made generated the method name in camel case. It said d is in uppercase, but I put d in lowercase here. Okay, so the setter method, you see that the difference between getter and setter, that setter method, in order to set the value, it takes an argument. It takes an argument of same type. So my door was integer type, so my setter method takes an argument of integer type. And here this is an important thing. It says this dot door equal to door. I will come back here later to discuss the use of this here. Okay, so now by set dot door integer doors argument, so that what it says that when we use the set door method, I have to put an integer value here, how many doors I have. Okay, I will do that shortly. Okay, and the getter method, it returns a value. It returns a value, what kind? The kinds of door or integer kind, integer type. So it returns an integer type value, and it will return the value of the door what you will set through the setter method. So actually it's something confusing, getter and setter method. So I remember this way. The getter method, it returns a value. How do I remember? I remember that it says getter method. It says getter. So I remember this way. Like I remember that getter method. When I read getter method, I say get. I say get, get. Okay. So getter method, I see getter method, I read in reverse order, RET. So getter method, it like I remember this way, it returns RET. So getter method, if I read in reverse order, RET, so that means I will remember that getter method returns a value and setter does not return a value. Setter is always void. So this is my way that I remember that getter method returns a value. Okay. So now everybody understands the getter and setter method. Anybody has any question? You have any question? Okay. So now we understand that getter setter method is used to set the value of the door, and getter method is used to return the value what I have set up. I will set up using setter. And this similar fashion for all getter and setter for other variables. You see the set speed, it returns speed, and get speed, it returns the speed, and set speed, it returns it sets the speed, and similarly set a color, and get color, it returns a color. So if you understand these two, getter and setter first set, and then you will understand everything. Okay, so now let us go to my main method and let us fix our code. So we did have this line. Since this line is not working, so we will make it comment out. How do I comment out? I just keep my cursor here and say Ctrl+/. So then I will say V1 dot, as soon as I see V1, click on V1. Okay, sorry, my computer is slow, but you see that it pops up a list of the available method. It says I have get door and I have also set door. Although get door comes first, but I need to call the set door first. You see let us understand the set doors method. You see the set doors method, its pattern, its signature is that it will take an integer value as it for door. Okay, and it will return void. It will not return anything. And it says dash vehicle. That means this method is defined within the vehicle class. So for instance, now you will see the other thing for set color. It has the all the way last vehicle. That means since set color method is defined within the vehicle class. And similarly, that you see that get door, get color, and get speed, these are defined within the vehicle method, vehicle class. And you see that there are some methods, equals method, notify wall. These are defined at the object class. So this is object class is the great parent class of all Java programs. That by default all Java programs inherit these properties. So we will know about object class in our next week when we discuss inheritance. So for instance, when we will call set door method, just double click here. It says set door and it is asking me to put value of my door. How many doors I want to have in my car? For instance, 4 doors. Okay, then I will put 4. Okay. Then this line is fine. Then similarly for V2 I need to set door. Once I click ACT, then it will show me only the methods start with set. Set door, how many doors I did have? I did have 2 doors, right? So then I don't need this part. Okay, so then let me delete this vehicle 3 and 4. I don't need this. Okay, so now V1 dot set color. We need to set color for v1. v1 dot set color. Okay, what is my intended color? Red, right? My color red should be put within double quote here. Since it is a string, it must be put within double quote. Similarly, my v2, my vehicles 2's color is white. So then I will say set color equal to, I can type in white. Okay, then these lines are done. These lines are good. So instead of setting door directly, we use indirect getter and setter method, indirect setter method. How is it as possible? Because you see that setter method was public. Getter and setter method are public, and these public method are using its own internal private method, private attributes. Okay. So I am done so far this, and now in order to print, just I have set up here, I have assigned values. Now in order to print or to use this variable, I need to make change or fix this line. So anyone has an idea how to do that? What do you need to use here? Yes, I need to call the getter method for v1. So as soon as I say v1 dot get, it says v1 dot get door. Okay, so that get door, it knows that how many doors it has. So it is nothing within within parentheses. Okay. So whatever I said here, the door 4 door, it will show the door number 4 over here. So then v1 dot color equal to, so v1 dot get color. Okay. So then done. I'm done these 2 lines, and then let us fix these 2 lines. So what is my v1 dot? How do I access v2 dot door dot get door? Okay, and v2 dot, how can I call its color? How can I access its color? Get color. You see that one thing, that when I call dot get color, you see that it says that colon string. That means this get color method, it returns a string value, string type value, and my color will be string value, and then it is defined within the vehicle class. So now if I run my program, then what will be my expected output? Same thing that I got earlier, right? I got v1 equal to v1 dot door equal to 4, v1 dot color equal to red, and v1 dot door equal to 2, v2 dot door equal to 2, and v2 dot color equal to white. So this is the way I have created getter and setter method in my original class. Okay, and this is the way I access the getter and setter method in order to access the private variables of the class, of the vehicle class, by using its object with dot operator. So anyone has any question about getter and setter? No question? Yes. Okay, I will show in C# in next class. Okay. But if I am late for your test, do some Google search. You will know getter and setter. And if you start your programming in lab in C#, then you should know this by this time. Or just do a Google search, watch a video that how to create getter and setter in C#. Today is a short class. I have a few more minutes. In next class I will start, hopefully. Okay, inshallah. Okay, then if you do not have a question, any question, then I have a question here on line number 13. Okay, so here on line number 13 I have used these operator. I says this dot door equal to door. What is the function of this here? Anyone has any idea? No. No. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. For the novice programmer, this is really confusing. Why do we use this and why do not use this? And why do we read and when do we need this operator? This called is an operator. Okay. Let me try to explain it. Okay. Give attention for 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. This is actually reference. We discussed reference, right? Object reference. Actually, this refers to the current object. This refers to the current object. So if I use, what is your name? Louis? What is your name? Solomon. So I asked name. Okay. Just I asked name, but he replied Louis and he replied Solomon. Both of you same student, right? Louis is a student, but he replied me his name as Louis, and then Solomon is a student, but he replied his name as Solomon, right? Because his name is with him, right? He replied his name and he replied his name. That means actually these operators ensure that every object will use his own attribute. It will ensure that Louis will not, when I ask Louis' name, he will not tell Solomon's name. And when I ask Solomon, and then he will not tell Louis' name or someone else's name. Okay? So this operator, it refers to the current object. So it says that whatever object I am associated with, I will refer to that object. So here the set method, when it said the set method, whenever set method is said with V1, so then, and then set method is set door used for V2. So then for V1 object, for V1 object, it will set door equal to 4. And for V2 object, it will set door equal to 2. So if I do not use this door, let us delete this operator. You see that I just deleted this dot, and it is showing me just a warning, right? Not an error message. So my program is fine. So let us rerun my program. So anyone has any idea what will be my output? I just deleted this dot door equal to door. I deleted this. So let us understand what will be the effect of not having this. Then we will understand the necessity of this, right? So if we run this method, that you will see the output. Can you see the output difference in the output? My V1 dot door equal to 0 and V2 dot door equal to 0. Did I set that way? No, I said V1 dot door equal to 4 and V2 dot door equal to 2. But it did not get that value, right? It got 0 and 0. Default value for integer. Okay, because actually it says I need you to use this dot door equal to door. If I say this dot doors equal to door, then it's fine. My program, if I rerun this program, it will show me the exact result. Okay, so that means I'm coming to you. So that means I am required to use this dot, but it is not always required. It is not always required. It is required only if I have, you see that there is an ambiguity, so the warning message, let us see the warning message. It says the assignment to variable doors has no effect. That means my compiler is confusing. Which door is this? I have two doors here. One is door fields integer, and another is local variable, argument variable here. So it's confusing. Which one I am setting this one? This one, or this door is this door? Okay, but if I have different name, for instance, if I say doors like D, if I say D, or a different name, and then if I say D here, if I say door equal to this, there is no ambiguity then if I run my program, it will be fine. Okay, so then I'm coming to you. So then that means this operator is required if this field name and the setter method's local variable name are exactly same. So if I use doors over here, integer doors over here, exactly same name. So this field name and local variable are exactly same name. If I use, then I have to use this dot door equal to door. Otherwise, it will be confusing and it will not work. So the question is that why do I need to use same name? I could give a different name here, right? I could give a different name over here. Then in that case, using this dot is optional. So if I said this dot doors equal to say different, anything different. So here doors, and here doors. So different name, right? Although difference in one character, then it will work. Then my question is that why do I need to make this complicated? Why do I need to? I could give a different name, but you remember that I did not give this name. It generated automatically. Actually, the programmers, they give same name, exactly same name of this field that is used to access this field, and they use this operator. Okay, but if you have a different name of your local variable, of your argument variable, then this is optional. The use of this is optional. So yes, so you have any question? Sorry? The zero gets for integer type variable, 0 is default value. Yeah, okay. For integer type variable, 0 is default value. So this is why we got 0 over here. For instance, if we do not give, he was asking my question, why did I get 0? Yeah, so why says I assigned 4 and 2, right? So he was asking why and how did I get 0? So you may not get 0 always, but you will get an unexpected value, because 0 value is default value for integer type. Okay, so are you clear about the use of this operator? These have many other uses, okay, but this is the most common use, and many people, even advanced programmer, they sometimes confused. What is the use of this operator is a good interview question. Okay, and if you can explain the use of this operator, then you are one step ahead. Anyone has any question about this? Okay, review it for your test. So what so far we have learned? We learned greater and setter method, right? And then this operator, okay, and we have also known to use new operator, right? Why new operator is used? In order to create an instance of this object, right? Without new, you cannot create an instance. So if you delete new, then your program will get an error. Okay, so please remember this up to this for your upcoming test. Okay, so now let me go through the slides. So anyone has any question so far? Okay, maybe I forgot, but I will add my own version of PowerPoint slide. Yes, what is your question? The test will be 100 points and 50 minutes or maybe 45 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes. I will not be giving you any extension. If you are late, you have to write, yes, you have to code. You have to code by hand, and then I like you to use pencil so that you can erase. Okay? I like you to use pencil. You can use pen, but it's better to use pencil, and if you use pencil, then use dark pencil, because we will scan your test, okay, so that you do not so a scan is enough to read, okay, scan copy is enough to read. Okay, so let us go through our slide then. Okay, so then we have went through this, and today's class we have went through these slides, and then remember that where do we left? We left last times with the static modifier, okay, static member. So let us start from here today. Okay, by the way, okay, another thing is that, so everyone has his different style in talking, working, or teaching. So in my teaching, you see that I do not go through the slide and each of the points line by line. I like you to go through this slide line by line. Okay, but rather than what I want to do, I want to focus the main points, and I want to explain those with demo program. For instance, it's to me explaining the use of this operator was easy with using a program, slide program. If I did not use this program, if I would explain you 10 times, maybe many of you did not understand, right? So my question is that, what do you like? Do you like me to go through all of these points one by one? Or the way I do, I will focus on the main thing, and I will ask you to go through the slides thoroughly, and I will use some of my time to explain with live program. What do you like? Okay, 3 people or 4 people said they like demo program. So if you do not say anything, then I will think that you follow them. Okay, you are agree with them. Okay, if no one raise your voice, but only one person raise your voice, I will follow that one person. Okay, so please remember that if you do not like something that I am going to do, please raise your voice and let me know. Okay. The static modifier. Okay, let us start with the static modifier. Okay, the static modifier, it is, can you please move it here? Let's move it. You remember that in our class we did have a main method. In our main method we did have static void main. We remember I said that public static void main. So now we will understand that the use of static modifiers now. Okay. A static is a modifier that means a global, that defines a global. Global, it defines a global attribute, either a field or a method that is common for all variables, all instances of this class. Okay, it is common name, for instance, that is common to everybody. For instance, if I want to so a object is created. For instance, there are some people in this world, they are known internationally or nationally by one name. If I say Barack Obama, then everybody knows that I am referring to the former president of USA, Barack Obama, right? If I say Trump, Donald Trump, then everybody knows that even outside of this USA, people, little baby, maybe in Asia or Europe or Africa knows that I'm referring the US president, right? Because he is known by his name internationally. If otherwise, but although there are thousands or hundreds people with same name, Barack Obama or Donald Trump, right? So, but he is known internationally. So, in order to do that kind of notification, okay, attribute, we use static attribute in our class. For instance, let us create another instance, for instance, integer vehicle count. I want to say how many vehicle objects I have created. So initially I put vehicle count equal to 0. Okay, so then I want to see how many vehicles I have created. For instance, let us create a method called vehicle. Actually, I have a few more minutes, because let me copy it from my previous class. It will be easy for me. I do have constructor, right? Okay, so I do have constructor here. Okay, I have constructor here. So I have constructor here. So instead of showing this line, I want to call this constructor. This constructor will be called every time, and in the constructor I want to, every time a new object is created, I want to increase my vehicle count object by 1. You say plus means vehicle count equal to vehicle count 1, and then I want to display how many vehicles are created. Okay, so I need to make it static. So if I say static integer vehicle, so let us understand this static, what will happen, and then if I run whatever I do have in my constructor, just I added this. Let me bring my constructor in the front, so you can see it. Okay, so you see in the constructor what I did vehicle count equal to vehicle count plus 1. Okay, and then I am saying vehicle created, how many vehicle is created. It will want to show me how many vehicles I created. So how many vehicles I created? I have created here 2 vehicles, right? So then if I run this program, it will show me that first time it is showing me vehicle count created 1, and then second time it is showing me vehicle created 2. So if I create 2 other vehicles, like for instance if I activated these 2 lines, okay, then what I will see, it will show me 2 other lines over here. It will show me vehicle count created 1, 2, 3 and 4. You see, because every time I create a vehicle object, it is increasing the vehicle counter by 1, and it is possible that I am using this as vehicle counter as a static. But if I do not use as a static, if I delete this static, okay, then if I run this program, then every time it says vehicle created 1, vehicle created 1, vehicle created 1. So you understand the difference of having static member. So a static member means it is common and effectable for all instances of the class, and it is accessible class wise. So if I say static here, then again that if I run this program, then the first time when it will a vehicle object is created, it will remember its previous value. Okay, so for first time it is when I call it, since I have static here, static vehicle count, So then first time it is called, then it remembers that vehicle object already created. So the second time it will come up with here vehicle created 2, and third time it will come up with vehicle created 3, and then fourth time it will come up with vehicle created 4. Okay, this is one of the use of static variable. Okay, and for instance, let us make another method. We did have a method, run method here, right? So let us make this run method public static. Okay, then let us give some the run method called. Okay, so once I have this run method as a static, then if I want to call the run method here, you see that I will not be able to call run method using its object like v1 dot run. If I call like this way, okay, it is showing me a, what is that called, is warning. It shows me that it says that the static method run from the type vehicle should be accessed in its static way. So what is meant by static way? That means if you have a static method, then it needs to be called by calling its class name. Then I need to call this as vehicle.run, because the run method is a method that is defined within the vehicle class as a static, that is as a global or international figure. Okay, so then for instance, if I say Barack Obama of USA, then everybody in this world will know that I am referring to the former US President Barack Obama, right? But if I say Barack Obama of Bangladesh, so then nobody will understand that this was the former president of USA, right? So then, since that means a static member is globally known, and in order to access a static member, like for instance, we will use the class name. Say, we will use the class name vehicle, okay? And there are some restrictions, okay? There are some rules and restrictions of using static member as well. We will go through this later. I may need 2 or 3 more extra minutes, okay? I have to finish this. Please give admission. So for instance, if I have a main method, I have another static method here. For instance, public static test. Okay, so if I have a method and then a public static, let me go ahead. Okay, and then sysout test method called. Okay, so let me do the test method. So here my test method is within my vehicle main class. So in order to call this test method, since it is within the class, I do not need to use the class name. My class name is here main, vehicle main, right? But since this is within class, so I don't need to use vehicle main dot test. It is by default since it is within class. Okay, so this is one of the feature of static method, and the feature I am going to be explained that in order to access a static variable, your method should be static. For instance, here my main method, remember that my main method is static. This is why I am able to call the vehicle, for instance, or the run. What is the run method? Run method. For instance, if my method, caller method is not a static method, I cannot call run from there. For instance, I cannot call, so for instance, if I have my test method is non-static, then I would not be able to call vehicle.run. The reason is that I will not be able to call, maybe it's not showing my error here. The reason is not maybe showing here. I will explain maybe in a situation where I say, because the point that I want to mention here, in order to access a static member, the caller needs to be static quality. For instance, in order to be a friend of US president, I need to be a president of another country, or at least that level, right? That category, right? In order to be a president. So in order to access a static modifier, static member, the caller needs to be static. Okay. So give me 2 extra minutes, please. I will go through this. So far I have, so whatever I explained here. So these are the slides. So if you go through these slides, okay, I need just 2 more minutes, please. Give me 2 more extra minutes. So then in the last slide it says we need to is class relationship. Class relationship means that for all classes in this world there are some relationship. Maybe there maybe have some relationship, or sometimes some object creates a larger object. For as a human being, I have my hands, leg, and body, and the head, right? All of these human organs created a full body, right? Sometimes here you are a student, I am a teacher. Between you and me, there is at least one attribute different. This is why you are a student here and I am a teacher here, right? And definitely we have some common attributes. This is why you are a human being and I am a human being. Okay? So that means that classes, whatever classes we see, some classes are dependent to each other and some classes are used to create a larger class, or some class inherit properties from other class. Okay? So these few slides talk about the relationship. So actually you will know this relationship more about this in your software engineering course. Okay, but we want to give you heads up here. But instead of going through all of this slide, I want to explain this in 1 minute. Okay, so these are the relationships. Some says that main relationship between 2 classes is called association, aggregation, and composition. Okay, give attention for 1 minute, then you will understand. So what is an association? Association means, for instance, a car and a driver. The relationship between a car and a driver. Usually a car is driven by a driver, right? Or a driver drives a car, right? So one-to-one relationship. A car is driven by a driver, or a driver drives a car. Okay, now association is 2 kinds. It's called aggregation and composition. Let me understand the difference between association and composition and aggregation is minor. You have to look at very carefully. You see that here is a tiny solid diamond. This means an composition relationship. That means an essential relationship. You know that an engine is an essential part of a car, right? So if your engine is dead, the car is dead, right? So then a car has usually 1 engine. So this is why relationship is 1-to-1. A car has 1 engine. So if his engine is gone, then car is useless. And sometimes here you see the aggregation. Aggregation is not an essential part. For instance, you have a CD, and in the CD you have 10 songs written here, right? If you delete 1 song, then it will have 9 songs. If you delete 5 songs, then it will have still 5 songs, right? If you delete all of the songs from a CD, but still your CD will be maybe used for other purpose, right? So in that case, Yes, songs are not essential element of the CD. So then it is called aggregation. You see the relationship between here is 1, 2. If this side is 1, as 0, 2 star, 0, 2 many. So and see the hollow is hollow diamond. That means it is not an essential part. Okay. So if you understand this, then please go through this slide, and then you will understand everything. And thank you for now, and thank you for and that's it for today. Thank you so much.
Science sheet. The spreadsheet didn't come out again.
Huh?
The spreadsheet didn't come around again.
So I'll ask them, please.
That's cool.
Yes, someone has it. Who has the attendance sheet? Yes, please give me 1 second.